Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the All Lakers podcast, a spinoff of the All Lakers website. Give us a gander over there. I am Tyson Chandler. I'm reading through the columns here. So, joined by Matt Levine, Buddy Sandoval, and Noel Sanchez. What's up, gentlemen?
What's going on, Alex? Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to talk Lakers with you guys. We've
right.
got a lot of stuff to discuss, and we're going to get right into it. The Lakers are 27-25. They're the ninth seed in the West. They're 3 games behind the sixth seed, the Phoenix Suns, and the seventh seed, the New Orleans Pelicans. They have the same record, 29-21. They're on a 3-game win streak, including 2 surprise road victories against the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. They also beat the Charlotte Hornets tonight. So it's their first 3-game win streak in like 2 months. They've gone 4-2 on this Grammys road trip that they just completed. They're looking better defensively. We're getting a lot more effort from Austin Reaves, especially in games where LeBron James is out or limited, and that's a bit of an issue. D'Angelo Russell has looked well. Last couple of games he looked bad. Charlotte he looked really good, but he was having quite a January basically. But February kind of regressed. That's kind of par for the course with him. He's a bit trick or treat, but like he's been better than I thought he was going to be this year. My first question to the group, we'll start with Matt, is there any trade LA can make to actually contend for a title this year?
There is, but I don't think it's actually available to them. And it's to go out and get an old friend that we're all familiar with that no one wants to talk about. But it's not Andre Drummond. We've talked about Andre Drummond too much on this show already. It's Kyrie Irving. And, I'm sure everyone here saw the kind of report that came out earlier. Brad Townsend from the Dallas Morning News, he wrote a pretty scathing report basically saying that Luka and Kyrie are no longer working together. It's been a whole season at this point, really, if you add up all the games and, injuries and whatnot. I mean, and Dallas isn't doing that great either. I think they were like a half game up on the Lakers in the standings after the Lakers won tonight. And, maybe Dallas starts to think, I don't know, let's move Kyrie. I mean, they re-signed him because they kind of had no other choice at that point in the offseason. No one else was really going to give him what he wanted. And maybe this is the move that the Lakers can make out of nowhere, right? Like, remember at last trade deadline, everyone was like, oh, let's go get Kyrie, right? And then there was offseason, let's go get Kyrie. Maybe when no one's expecting it, Kyrie finally shows up in LA. That would be kind of an interesting story. You go get Kyrie, you send like Russell, Hachimura, maybe Hood-Schifino, a pick to Dallas, and that's probably the best they're going to do for someone like Kyrie at this point in his career. And he's still a great player when he's actually on the court. And, to his credit, he has not been doing anything off the court so far this season. But that's a move that you can make right now that can put this team back into full title contention because you pair him with LeBron and AD. LeBron's happy if you get Kyrie, right? Like he was clamoring for him, last off season. Yeah. And we all remember all that. Kyrie, if you can. I don't know if Dallas is even willing to engage in a conversation about that at this point. And maybe you can get a team like Brooklyn or Atlanta even to get into those, negotiations. Maybe Atlanta sends DeJounte Murray over to Dallas to pair with Luka. Maybe that's a little bit better of a fit than Kyrie. Who knows? Like, I'm not a general manager of a team. They get paid millions of dollars to do that. So it's an interesting idea. I think that might be the only move, though, that really can kind of vault them into title contention, at least in my opinion.
All right. Buddy, rebuttal or different trade idea?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like a pipe dream, but I would throw Kyrie in there. Dare I say maybe even Lauri Markkanen if there's a way to get him. I know he's been in a couple of rumors there as well. Donovan Mitchell is another one that we've also wrote about as well on alllakers.com. So those three off the top of my head. Other than that, I mean, I don't really see any other way to catapult the Lakers. I mean, at least on paper, right? I mean, last year we didn't think that they would even make it past the first round. They end up going to the Western Conference Finals because of the squad that Rob Pelinka assembled. So, I mean, maybe there's a trade in the works that we don't even know about. Just like last year, we didn't know. People were calling us silly that Russell Westbrook was even going to move. You need to give up two first rounders for him, right? So we don't know what's in the works. Maybe Rob has his master plan, right? Genie knows about it. It's only him and Genie that know about it. So those three guys off the top of my head are the only ones that could maybe do so. Kyrie, obviously, yes, because of the chemistry. Donovan, because of his skill set and what he could bring to the Laker offense. And then Laurie, who could do it both ways, kind of. Those are the only three off the top of my head. But who knows what Rob has cooked up, man. So we're only a couple days away, and we'll see what they could deliver to us Laker fans.
Yeah. Noel, rebuttal or other trade idea?
So I got three that I'm looking at right here. First up, it's the guy that I've been looking at, the guy that isn't as big of a name as these other players that have been on the trade market, but I really do like what the Brooklyn Nets have to offer. I think they 100% should be sellers. They don't want to trade Mikal Bridges, according to reports. They shut down the Houston Rockets conversations, but I mean, they're like the merchant for really good role players in the NBA right now, and Dorian Finney-Smith is the guy that I wanted the Lakers to go after for some time now. He can guard the 1 through 4 positions. He shoots the 3 ball at a really high level. He's still in that range where he's not a super young player, but he's also not super old. He has a good amount of years in the league already. And I just think that his skill set perfectly matches what the Lakers need right now in order to really start winning some more games. He's going to give you the ability to stretch the floor. He's going to be able to guard the best wing on the opposing team, and he's going to be able to switch and, guard a pretty quicker guard, or he's going to be able to go into the bigger guys. And, I mean, Royce O'Neal, he doesn't turn the table just himself alone, but if he's able to get thrown the deal, that's a really good 6th, 7th, 8th man off the bench that can pretty much do the same thing: shoot, defend, and really the blueprint to win with LeBron James on your team has been to surround him with really good 3-and-D players, guys that don't mind catching and shooting. So I like what Brooklyn has to offer there. I mean, you also can't ignore the Chicago Bulls, what they have right now. Zach LaVine, he's out for the rest of the season, and I would never wish for someone to go down with an injury and miss, but I'm glad that the Lakers are no longer going to be entertaining that just because of the money that he was making. But I do think that if you're able to get a DeMar DeRozan and Alex Caruso, if you part ways with some of your assets, a D'Lo, an Austin Reaves, maybe a Rui Hachimura, Jalen Hood-Schifino, some first-round picks, I think that DeMar Caruso definitely can and Paul shoot in that Western Conference. And I mean, you got a skilled scorer like DeRozan, you got Caruso, who we know well what he can do. He helped us win that 2020 title. And just a little bonus name in there that I've been seeing float around by some NBA insiders: Cam Johnson may be available at the deadline. They don't want to trade Mikal Bridges, but they might want to look to already get off of some of that money that Cam is making and still kind of get some young guys and some picks based off of the production he's had so far. So I'd say those 3 packages are what I'm looking at right now that maybe won't help us contend right away, but like Buddy was saying, at least get us back on track and, start surprising some people again.
I think that Mitchell and Markin would be interesting, but you can't get those guys for just one pick. They have some swaps they could do, but they can only trade 1 first-round pick this year. Now, they can trade, I think, up to 3 picks in the summer. But for this year, I just don't see them. I mean, like, they can certainly offer for Mitchell and for Markkanen. And if, I guess, those teams like the players, like the present-day players they have, in addition to, like, Jalen Hood-Schifino, the 1 pick they can move, and the swaps, it just doesn't seem like enough. But I guess if no one else makes an offer, I just don't think Utah is doing a Markkanen trade for less than like 3 firsts or something. Mitchell, maybe you can get for a little less than that, but I would assume that Cleveland would try to sell higher than 1 pick and some swaps.
Yeah.
I think Kyrie you could get for a pick. I don't think you can win anything with Kyrie. He doesn't play defense, which is, I think perimeter defense is a big issue for the Lakers, especially with Vanderbilt being questionable now for a while. I don't think they have enough assets to get a real game changer unless they're going to move like LeBron James or Anthony Davis. I don't think that they can do it. And if they do those guys, I don't know that you can win anything. So I don't think the Lakers are winning this year. I think I'm out on the Lakers winning now. How much should we trust this recent Austin Reaves run? So not counting the Charlotte game when he had like 9 points, but in 3 games before, he averaged 27.3 points while shooting 52% from the field, 54.2% from deep, 77.3% from the free throw line, 5.3 assists, 2.7 rebounds, 0.7 steals, and 0.7 blocks a night. Is that Austin Reaves there? Is the Austin Reaves that could average like 20 points a game something that we're going to see consistently over these last couple of months of the regular season? Or is he going to regress to being what he's been the rest of the year, which is pretty good, but not quite like anybody? Like, he's not taking the leap that I thought he was going to take. Where do you guys see him sort of like averaging out? I guess I started with Matt last time, so let's do Buddy this time. What do you think, Buddy?
Yeah, with Reaves, I mean, like you said, 9 points today against Charlotte. What was it? 22 against New York, 32 against Boston.
Right.
I think he's somewhere around the middle. So, which is his average, which he's averaging 15.6 points per game. I mean, you've seen in the playoffs he was able to elevate his game. I mean, I don't know if we could trust him to do that again, but if you want to go off track record, one postseason appearance, and he was able to propel the Lakers to some key victories there. So I think he's somewhere in the middle. Right now you look at it, you would probably say he's our fourth, maybe third best player. If he's the fourth, you would feel pretty confident in that. But then you look at the third best player, and that's D'Angelo Russell, and we don't even know if he's going to be here past Thursday. So there's a lot of question marks surrounding this Laker team, obviously. But whenever you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, I feel in a series, hopefully they get there. You just got to take your chances there. But with Reaves, if you go off the track record, what he did last year, hoping he could do that this year, I would probably if I were a betting man, I would put my money on it. I would put my money on it. I wouldn't feel too confident about it, but because of what he did last year, his growth, how well he fits alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis, then I feel like he could trend towards the right direction. I remember last year, what was it? A Sunday. I remember a Sunday night game against Orlando. He just went off in the fourth quarter. He was going crazy. So he's capable of doing that. And obviously, like we seen last year against Memphis, against Memphis in particular, what he was able to do there. So I feel like towards the end of the regular season, as things are winding down, I feel like Austin is a guy you could trust.
Nice. I like it. I want to believe. Noel, rebuttal?
Yeah, I mean, when you take a look at this time last year after the trade deadline, it was a mix of things, getting some new players around that better fit his skill set. LeBron James going down and giving him more responsibilities with the ball. This one we really saw him start to, feel himself and, kind of get that confidence to not just be able to play make, but also be able to score the basketball at a really, really high and efficient level. And just a little fun fact, Anthony Davis, with his, I believe, fourth career triple-double today, he joined LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Austin Reaves as the only Lakers with 25 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists. So little cool company that Reaves is in.
Great company.
Oh, interesting.
Right,
yeah. But last 5 games for Reaves, 21 points, 5 assists, shooting 40% from deep. Like, we've known him to rise up to the challenge in these high pressure situations, specifically in the Western Conference Finals against the Denver Nuggets. He played really, really well. Even though we lost all 4 of those games, we all know the deal there. We've gone over it a million times. All 4 of those games were close, largely due to him. And I mean, I think at this point with this recent play, I think we can trust it because he has established himself as a shooting guard with great playmaking skills versus that point guard that he kept talking about he wanted to be coming into the season. I think he got that opportunity early on, and that's really why he was struggling, because he had some identity crisis about whether he should be creating for the superstars on his team or should he be playing more off ball and given some opportunities, some plays to where he can run the offense and he could find his own shot, because we all know his best work is when he gets like 4 or 5 dribbles, he gets to the middle of the key, he either gets his fade away, draws a foul, or he kicks it to someone. So I just think if they keep playing him in these roles where he's on the floor with LeBron, he's on the floor with D'Lo, he's on the floor with some other guys, with Anthony Davis, then I think that's where we'll see the best out of him versus being asked to run the offense. So I do think that we can trust what we've seen from him recently. And I mean, I'm pretty excited to see what moves, if we make any moves at the deadline, because I think Reaves, he's not going to get traded. I really, really don't think so. I'd be very shocked if he is a guy that gets moved. I think we're all looking at D'Angelo Russell as the unfortunate player who's going to get moved despite how well he played in January. And I think that the Lakers should 100% be looking at guys that can help Austin Reaves, can fit his skill set, because you lock this dude down to, was it a 4 or 5 year deal? 4-year deal. You're with him during Anthony Davis's extension. You're with him during Jared Vanderbilt's extension. You know the players that are going to be here. I mean, don't go and get someone that's going to hurt this guy's development just because you want, I don't know, just because you want like a DeJounte Murray, or you want, someone that's going to dominate the ball and that LeBron James is going to have for a year. That's my take on that.
Okay. Matt, rebuttal?
Sure.
It's not a full rebuttal, but it's more or less like I'll be able to answer that more once I see what the Lakers do, because it's kind of like what Buddy said. If he becomes your 4th option, you feel really good about having an Austin Reaves as your 4th option, right? But has to be the third option. Like if they trade for like the Brooklyn package, for instance, like if they go get a Finney Smith and O'Neal, etc., he probably then becomes the third option. And I don't hate him as the third option, but he's kind of inconsistent this year. And one playoff, hot streak is awesome, but can he do it again? Right? Teams have more film on him now. Teams are scouting him now a little bit better. They're seeing how to play the Lakers a little better. But if they go get like a DeJounte Murray type player, and now Reaves gets put down to like the fourth option, I guess, on any given night, I love it, and I'm going to trust that this guy's going to figure it out. I mean, LeBron and Anthony Davis trust this guy.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that tells me all I really need to know in a way, because they want him on the floor with them in the crucial situations. They trust him to take a shot in the crucial moments, which that doesn't come very easily, especially for someone like LeBron James, who's through it all, really. And, his legacy is secure, but, he wants to add to it. And if he's trusting someone to help him do that, then as fans, we have to be able to trust that player too. But I agree. Reaves is not going to get traded. They love this guy. They don't want to make that same mistake that they made by giving up on Caruso, and he's on such a team friendly contract for the next couple of years too. So why move him now? Also, you could potentially keep him, maybe go after Donovan Mitchell in the summer or something if it doesn't work this year.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland, I don't think Cleveland would say no to an inclusion of Austin Reaves in any kind of deal. So for Reaves is I lean yes, but I need to see what exactly Rob Pelinka does over these next 2 days, because I do think D'Angelo Russell is gone, unfortunately, just based off of the way his contract is. But then at the same time, it's like he would probably leave in the offseason too. So I don't know. And then he had the game against Atlanta that wasn't very good either. We've talked about Russell; he's up and down, but I think Reaves showed us enough in his short career that we can trust him right now until he proves to us in the crucial moments that we cannot, and he has not done that yet.
Okay. Sorry. Well, I think that the issue with Russell is that I don't think he's gonna opt out of his player option for next season because he's being paid like $10 million too much. I don't know if he's gonna get that kind of money in the open market. I guess I could see it if he thinks there's long-term security, if he can get like a 4-year, $40 million deal or something like that. And also, I think that he's got some value, so I don't know. Maybe he's happy to take like a slight haircut on another deal just to get the security of the deal and to leave the Lakers situation. So I guess I could see D'Lo opting out. It's just hard because he's not going to make that much money on his next contract annually. But anyway, in terms of the Reaves thing, I think that Reaves. Yeah, I think I agree with Buddy that he's going to sort of regress to the mean of his season so far, but he can deliver in key moments. And then I like the idea of him being sort of a fourth guy. I also like the Murray trade. I guess we hadn't really talked about that, but that sounds like an awesome deal if the Lakers can swing it. The big issue with him is that he's a free agent. Speaking of this summer, so he's going to get a raise from that $17.7 million he's making this year. So the Lakers have to be I guess. They have to be prepared to pay him a lot of money, more than he's making now, probably double what he's making now. But if it doesn't work out, they can just wash their hands of him and then spend that money elsewhere. So that's the other side of it. Yeah. Whereas they're committed to that deal contract, assuming he opts in. So, yeah, interesting to see how Reaves is going to fit on a post-trade team. I agree with Matt about the incomplete thing, I think. And then also, I agree with Noel about his best role being sort of like a guy that he can handle a little bit, but he's not the primary ball handler anymore. Not him as the point guard, but him as a shooting guard that can handle a supplementary playmaker, ball handler kind of guy. So, like that. All right, next thing. Bronny James, I don't know if anyone's been paying attention, but he's not been having an amazing college season with the USC Trojans. He started late because of his cardiac arrest earlier in the offseason. And he's played 14 games. He's averaging 5.9 points a game on 37.2% shooting from the field, 2.9 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and 0.9 steals, while the team has gone 4-10 in the games that he's played. He's been starting, I think he started 4 of those games because there's been injuries to their starting backcourt for USC. But he's not looked that amazing offensively. He's got a lot of talent defensively, but he's still kind of raw and makes mistakes. So the idea of him being a one and done player, just I could see it, but like I don't know. He's fallen off draft boards. Like he would just be a G League player for a year or two before he could even play in the NBA. I don't think. I think he's too raw to go directly to the NBA from 1 year of college. Do you guys think that this rumored LeBron James, Bronny James pair up is in the cards? First of all, at all, or second of all, like, is it going to affect how LeBron James thinks about his next season? I guess Noel, you're first now.
So I don't know about them teaming up anymore as much as I used to. I know LeBron has said plenty of times that it's going to happen, even if it's the last season of his career. But I think that as LeBron James has seen Bronny go through the process and seen him kind of have to deal with the fame and the pressure of being his son, I think we're going to see them match up against each other on different teams. I think LeBron is probably going to stay put in Los Angeles for the rest of his career. And
Interesting.
like I said, I think that Bronny already needs to silence a lot of people that think he's where he's at in his career because of LeBron, because of having the James last name. And I mean, truthfully, LeBron is going to wait and he's going to do what he needs to do in order to at least be on the same court as his son and play in the same NBA game as him. I think even if he was with the Lakers or within their team and he was older and he was beat up, he would sit out the first half of the season just to be healthy for that first game against Bronny. And I do think that, like you said, Alex, Bronny hasn't been super, super impressive this season. His stats would definitely not put him in any NBA mock draft if it wasn't for, being, like I said, being the James son. And I think in the recent Bleacher Report mock draft, he wasn't even in either rounds. So, I mean, that's very, very telling. And I think it would benefit him a lot to come back to USC for a sophomore season, get healthy, have a full off season to actually train. I know he had his heart issues coming into the year, so that was very, very scary. I'm just happy that he's healthy and back on the floor again. But I mean, it kind of puts you in that perfect situation to where LeBron can finish out his contract with the Lakers, and then Bronny could come in. I mean, and then whatever happens then happens then. But if I was a betting man, I would definitely put my money on them playing against each other rather than teaming up.
Interesting. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think he should probably stay with the Trojans for another year. I mean, he is a little too raw to be directly in the NBA. Now, I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to try to go to the NBA. You have your opportunity. He's going to take it, right? But I actually think his struggles in college benefit in a way, because if he doesn't get drafted, he can then sign as an undrafted free agent, and then he has more control over where he goes. So if LeBron stays with the Lakers could just easily just sign Bronny rather than having to try to figure out if they have a first round pick. Does it go to New Orleans this coming year? Do they have is he going to be available when they have a second round pick, right? If he's an undrafted free agent, he can just sign with them. And then the Lakers can have that team up of Bronny and LeBron,
like a two-way contract or a standard roster?
Yeah, I mean, they easily could. I mean, it's going to be a lot easier for them to get him if he keeps struggling like this, but he wants to go to the NBA. So I think that he's going to end up going to the NBA next year. I can't see him going back to college. I can't. I think he should, but I don't see it. Yeah. Players do not pass that opportunity up, and is he really going to improve that much where he's going to, jump into the top 10, top 15 of the next year? That's really hard to say. And what if an injury happens, right? And now his draft stock, tanks at that point. So I do think it's going to happen. Whether it's this coming year, 2 years, I think LeBron wants to be on a team with his son. I think it's diminished over the last year or two, because he even said, like, Bronny's going his own way. It may not, what I want may not be what he wants, kind of thing. What does Bronny want? Because Bronny has not commented about this whatsoever. All we've heard is LeBron wants to play with his son. We've never heard Bronny say, hey, I want to play with my dad. I want to be on the same team as him. And in a way, it's kind of that if Bronny joins up with LeBron in his rookie year, because all that pressure, be playing with this Hall of Fame player who's your dad, it might impact his development, at least early on. And I don't want to see that for Bronny. I want Bronny to be able to thrive on his own. Yes, he's getting here with his name, right? Bronny. But I want him to actually show what he can do, not just be around from his dad's aura. on a court, right? Even though I do think it's going to happen at some point, but it's an interesting situation, honestly, because LeBron can opt out this year. Bronny is eligible to go to the NBA, so these next couple months are going to be really telling, just to kind of speculate about all the nonsense that can kind of happen over the next couple months.
Interesting. Okay, so we got one sophomore year, we got one declares the draft, buddy break the tie, or stays until he's a junior.
Yeah, I think at minimum, honestly, he should stay at least 3 years. Just watching him play this year, numbers don't lie. Sometimes they need context, but in this case, what you see is kind of what you get from Bronny. 5.9 points, 2.9 rebounds, shooting 37% from the field. Those numbers are what he is right now. He's playing a little scared right now. I mean, granted, like you said, he is coming back from a serious life-threatening issue, so that could play a part in it. What's probably only played like 12, 13 games right now, but right now he hardly even looks like a college player, if I'm being honest. But I don't want to say pressure, but just for a lack of a better term, I feel like there is a tiny bit pressure to go to the NBA and play with his father. Matt brought up a great point. Yeah, LeBron, there's nothing more he would want than to play alongside his kid. But what does Bronny want? What if he does come out? Is the team even gonna consider him, right? And they probably are, because you have a chance to get LeBron James. Even if it is a pipe dream, right? So right now, minimum 3 years. I think he should stay the 4 years, just in terms of his development. I feel like it'll be the best for him. But I think LeBron is gonna have to is gonna say a lot about what Bronny ends up doing. And if I had to take a guess, I feel like he is going to come out. He shouldn't. But at the end of the day, I feel like he is, just because you can miss out on that type of opportunity. LeBron's gonna turn 40 at the end of this year, and we don't know how much time he's gonna have left. Even though he's still playing phenomenal, he's healthy right now. Knock on wood. Hopefully that remains the case. And if he does, and if Bronny does come in, then hopefully it's with the Lakers, because then that means LeBron will be a Laker. So yeah, right now, man, it's just a lot. A lot's gonna happen. A lot is gonna transpire throughout these next coming months. And the Lakers, for lack of a better term, if you want to look at it that way, will be the beneficiary of it. So that's where I'm at.
Facts.
Okay, word. Okay, so we've got two saying he'll declare now. One says he stays. What do I think? I don't know. The big thing is he makes a lot of money right now. His NIL evaluation, or rather valuation from on3.com has him making or being worth $7.5 million with all of his various portfolio sponsors and stuff. So he doesn't need, and also he's the son of LeBron James, so it's not like he needs the money or anything, but it's more like, does he need the opportunity? Does he want to play with LeBron James, with his dad, before his dad ages out of the sport? So I don't know. I can't. I'm gonna say that he stays, but unlike Noel, I'm gonna say LeBron leaves, which brings us to our last question: is LeBron James going to be a Laker next season? He's already done the posting of a cryptic social media message. He did the hourglass emoji, as in time's running out for LA to make a move, I think is what he was inferring. He's been less than positive about the team in recent remarks to the press. Obviously, he's got a $51.4 million player option. He even threatened retirement last offseason, so I guess that's an option too. I don't think that's going to happen, but yeah, I suppose he could. I just don't see him coming back to the Lakers when he could go kind of wherever, but it certainly seems like, I don't know, there's been a lot of weird rumblings about a Warriors team up, which is kind of funny. I don't think that team would be that great, but I think it'd be funny. And then it's also just so weird because they're sort of his arch rival. So I don't know. But yeah, I do think he's gonna go somewhere else in the summer, and maybe he'll be more of a mercenary, trying to get that fifth ring and take a discount. So that's my theory for what happens to LeBron, is that he moseys. Let's see. Then who would be next? I guess Matt is next. Matt, what do you think?
I mean, I think either way, LeBron's going to make his $51 million next year. I think regardless, he's going to opt into that contract. and he'll either stay with the Lakers or he's going to ask for a trade. Just he's not going to turn down making $51 million next year. I can't see that at all.
Interesting.
But
He's never
I
forced
think
a
he
trade
stays.
yet. Never forced a trade so far.
I think
True.
he takes pride in that fact that he has never been traded. I don't think he wants to be traded. Like, I think he wants to be that kind of player that's never done that before. Like, he chooses where he goes, right?
Yeah.
Like, granted, he could probably pick which team he gets traded to, but still, he doesn't have that on his, resume, I guess, like traded to X team. Like, I think he's going to end up staying with the Lakers. I think he's built too much into this right now. I think he's just using all of his passive aggressiveness that he's done in years past, and it's coming out because the team has kind of been, as he called it, Jekyll and Hyde. And him and Anthony Davis have been healthy, and they've still kind of struggled. I think if they don't make a deep run this year, then Darvin Ham is gone, and we all know, I don't think LeBron is the biggest Darvin Ham fan. And they can try to get a more veteran coach in and make some moves with the contracts they have. I mean, Vanderbilt's extension is going to be kicking in. Hachimura, Reaves. I mean, who knows what else they're going to get at the deadline. And I think they'll have the assets to go get a player to pair with him and Davis, who fits better than a Westbrook, and they can kind of make what happened 2 years ago, but actually make it work. If that makes sense. So I don't see him leaving LA. He's invested too much here. His family's here. His kids are still going to school here. Other than Bronny's still at USC for right now. I can't see it. The only situation I see him going to is back to Miami or Cleveland. I don't think he wants to be that kind of player who just bounces around teams. If he goes back to like a Miami, no one's going to knock him for that. If he goes back to Cleveland, no one's going to knock him for that. But if he goes to the Warriors, people are going to knock him for that. And he dealt with that early in his career. I don't think he wants to deal with it again. So 70% stays with the Lakers, 30 opts in and asks for a trade. That's the way I see it.
Interesting. I kind of forgot about what we talked about earlier in the pod, that they could just hold on to their pick right now, and then they'd have 3 picks to deal for Mitchell or whatever in the summer. That's a good point. All right, buddy, rebuttal?
Yeah, I think no rebuttal on my side. I believe he stays. I feel like he's comfortable, and that's probably maybe the wrong reason to stay, because you are comfortable. But Bryce is still going to Sierra Canyon. Bronny's here. I feel like Savannah's comfy here too. LeBron is comfortable as a Laker. He wants to be a part of that Laker lore. You have people saying, "Oh, he's not a true Laker. He needs to win one more title." Blah blah blah. Guys, before he came here, the Lakers were irrelevant. They were down in the dumps. They won a combined maybe like 60 games over the span of 3 years. Maybe that's even putting it like lightly there. This team was not good. They were irrelevant. The Clippers were getting all the shine, right? They were nowhere near championship contenders. LeBron comes here, all of a sudden, it starts to look like the Lakers. You see celebrities in the stands. You see the Lakers be relevant again, and I think LeBron likes that. He wants to be, even though he might not admit it. I feel like he wants to be a part of that Kareem, Kobe, Magic table, right? I mean, like, those guys won multiple championships. I feel like he wants to do that in Los Angeles, and I really do have a hard time seeing him leave. I feel like probably not retiring as well, but I feel like there's a higher percentage of him going to another team than retiring, but at the same time, like, I just don't see those odds high. I feel like he wants to stay a Laker till he retires, and if his son joins him, like we talked about last segment, then so be it. But there's plenty of options out there. If they don't get it done this year, that'll suck because he's gonna turn 40 next year. But if he is healthy, like Matt said, if they make some type of trade to propel them. I feel like they're right back in the mix, right? So, if end all be all, when 2024, 2025 hits, LeBron James will be wearing purple and gold, I believe.
Wow, 2 for and 1 against. Noel, what do you think?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think he's the type of dude to turn down $51 million. I think he wants a farewell tour. I think LA is the perfect place to do it. Bronny is, like I said, I think he should return for a sophomore season at USC. Bryce James will be entering his senior year at Sierra Canyon. And I think switching teams at this point in his career, it'll make his legacy even more complicated. People already see him majority as a top 2 player in NBA history. He's brought every team he's been on a ring. And I think he still has the leeway to be the best player on the Lakers if they push for another ring. But if he goes to another contender for a minimum or for the mid-level exception, or he gets traded, he might not be the best player in that title run. And, I think he's all about just kind of putting that cherry on top of his legacy. And I think just staying in Los Angeles is the perfect way for him to do what's best for his basketball career, his business ventures, and then hopefully for him to go on and own that Las Vegas team. So, yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going to be leaving LA.
Interesting. Well, maybe he'll eventually own the Vegas team and play for it at the same time. Can you do that? Is that a thing that you can do as a player?
Like semi-pro.
Why not?
Yeah,
like semi-pro, Will Ferrell. Yeah, I mean, that's
if
possible.
he does that, they better have those halftime shows. That's all I got to say. LeBron's got to pull out all the stops in the halftime shows.
You can afford it. All right,
Most
gentlemen.
definitely.
Well, excellent chatting Lakers with you guys. We've got 2 days until the trade deadline. By the time this is out, this will probably be out on Tuesday.
And it's spicy.
I can't wait to see what happens. All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys.
So check us out, on alllakers.com, Sports Illustrated's Lakers website, and check us out on our various social handles, which you can see here. And we'll talk to you soon.